Welcome to Fragile Bonds, to the powerful stories of family, love, loss, and the choices that shape our lives. Now let's begin today's story.
My name is Rachel. I work from home as a freelance writer. Right now, I'm 9 months pregnant, and I can hardly wait to meet my baby. My husband David is a sales manager at an IT company. We've been married for 2 years, and every day is filled with happiness. But getting here wasn't easy. 8 years ago, I was married to someone else. My ex-husband Michael was an executive at a major financial firm, and even back then, he was all about his work. When we got married, I was drawn to how serious and sincere he was. I truly believed we'd build a wonderful life together. But reality was different. Michael would leave the house at 7 every morning and wouldn't come home until after 1 in the morning. On weekends, he had business dinners and golf outings. He was hardly ever home. I spent my days alone in our big house, eating dinner in front of the TV. I complained to friends sometimes. It's like I'm married to myself, I'd say. I put up with it for 3 years. But one day, I saw a photo that came through on Michael's smartphone. There he was, looking cozy with a woman I'd never seen before. They were arm in arm in what looked like a hotel lobby. My heart felt like it froze. Everything I believed in came crashing down all at once. When I confronted him with that photo, Michael didn't make any excuses. He just looked exhausted and said, "I'm sorry." That was the end. We signed the divorce papers and went our separate ways. After the divorce, we had no contact at all. He was just part of my past now. A year after the divorce, I was deep in loneliness. My friends worried about me, but the wounds in my heart didn't heal easily. One day, while I was having coffee at my usual cafe, a man at the next table kindly struck up a conversation. That was David. "You've been through a lot. You're not alone," he said. Those words brought tears to my eyes. David didn't ask for anything, he just listened to me. "Let's meet again this weekend," he said. As a friend, he supported me. Eventually, we fell in love. David was the ideal man I'd always imagined. Even when work was busy, he always made sure to come home early. Every night over dinner, he'd ask, "Rachel, how was your day today?" After I got pregnant, he became even more caring. Whenever I tried to lift something heavy, he'd immediately take over. When I was suffering from morning sickness, he'd rub my back. I truly felt I'd finally found real happiness. But there was one small thing that bothered me. David avoided any mention of Michael. At first, I didn't think much of it. Of course, I wanted to forget about my ex-husband. But recently, when a friend mentioned she'd run into Michael by chance, David's expression hardened. "You're better off forgetting about him," he said, his tone a bit sharp. He must just be worried about me, I thought. He doesn't want me tied to the past. David is such a caring person. The baby moved in my belly. Soon we'd meet. David, the baby, and I, our new family life would begin. A happy future was right around the corner. The past didn't matter anymore. I had David. That was enough. 3 days before my due date, around 2 in the morning, I woke up to a dull pain in my lower abdomen. At first I thought I was imagining it, but a few minutes later, the same pain hit me again. This was labor. I shook David's shoulder as he slept beside me. "It hurts. Wake up." He jumped up immediately. "It's okay, let's get to the hospital right away. Stay calm, Rachel." His voice was steady, and that alone helped me relax a bit. Without panicking, David grabbed the hospital bag we prepared and supported my arm. When we got in the car, another wave of pain hit me. I cried out involuntarily. David gripped the steering wheel with one hand and held my hand with the other. "We're almost there. Hang in there." His hand was warm, calming my trembling. When we arrived at the hospital, staff immediately brought a wheelchair. David stayed by my side the whole way to the delivery room. "It's okay. You'll see the baby soon," he kept saying. Once in the delivery room, the contractions kept getting closer together. The pain was beyond anything I'd imagined, and I screamed over and over. The nurse spoke gently. "Just a little more. You can do this." But the pain was merciless, coming in waves. David kept holding my hand. "You can do it, Rachel. You'll see the baby soon. I know you can." His voice was my only anchor. How much time had passed? Those hours felt like an eternity. I heard the doctor's voice. "One more push. You can do it." I summoned my last bit of strength. And then, the baby's cry filled the room. "It's a healthy baby boy," the doctor said. They placed the baby on my chest. So small, so warm, I never knew anything in this world could be so precious. Tears streamed down my face and wouldn't stop. David was crying too. "Thank you, Rachel. Thank you so much." The baby was quickly taken to the nursery. The nurse explained it was for tests. I was exhausted but filled with happiness. When I was moved to a private room, I felt all the strength drain from my body. David kissed my forehead. "I'm going to step out for a bit. I'll get some things we need. Your favorite drinks, some snacks. Is there anything else you want?" "No, I'm fine. Thank you," I answered. I really wanted him to stay, but his thoughtfulness made me happy. "Be careful." After he left the room, silence settled in. Outside the window, it was still dark. I lay down in bed and closed my eyes. The exhaustion from childbirth hit all at once, and I fell asleep immediately. How long had I been asleep? When I woke up, it was light outside. Morning sun was streaming into the room. I looked at the clock. It was past 8 already. David still hadn't come back. Looking at the empty chair beside the bed, I felt a twinge of anxiety. For just shopping, he'd been gone quite a while. But it was still early morning, maybe he was having trouble finding stores that were open. I told myself that. I was thirsty. There was a water pitcher on the bedside table, but it was empty. I also needed to use the bathroom. I thought about pressing the call button, but maybe it would be good to walk a little. Just then, I heard a knock at the door. A nurse came in. "Good morning. Did you sleep well?" "Yes, thank you," I answered. "Your baby is doing great. All the tests came back fine. We'll bring him to your room later." The nurse smiled kindly. "Has your husband come back yet?" Not yet. He went shopping," I said. "I see. Maybe something came up. Can you reach him?" "Yes, I'll try calling him later," I answered, though a small uneasiness spread through my chest. David always carried his cell phone. If something had happened, he would have contacted me. After the nurse left, I picked up my phone. I started to call David but stopped. He must be driving. I didn't want him to have an accident. I'll go to the bathroom, I decided. Slowly, I got out of bed. My body still hurt, but I could manage to walk. I left the room and started down the hallway. The hallway was quiet. Maybe because it was still early, there was hardly anyone around. I walked slowly, looking for the bathroom sign. And then I saw a man walking toward me from the other end. My heart almost stopped. It was Michael. My ex-husband Michael was walking toward me. Huh? A sound escaped me. He noticed me too. He stopped in his tracks, looking surprised. Rachel, he said my name. What are you doing here? We stood in the middle of the hallway, staring at each other. It had been 5 years. Michael looked a bit thinner. He was still wearing a suit, but he seemed more tired than before. Did you just have a baby? Michael said. Congratulations. Thank you, I answered. My voice was shaking. What are you doing here? Oh, one of my client company presidents is hospitalized. I came to visit. Michael looked away slightly. So, have you been well? Yeah, I'm fine. I answered briefly. I didn't know what to say. I never imagined I'd run into my ex-husband in a hospital hallway. Silence fell. An awkward atmosphere hung between us. Michael looked like he wanted to say something but was choosing his words. Just then, I heard the elevator doors open. I reflexively looked that way. It was David. He was walking toward us, carrying shopping bags in both hands. David, you're back, I said. I felt a little relieved. With him here, I could escape this awkward situation. David saw me and smiled. Sorry I'm late. But I got all your favorite things. I started to walk toward him. But I heard Michael mutter something behind me. When I turned around, Michael's eyes were fixed on David. And in the next moment, Michael's face changed. I could see the blood drain from it. His face turned deathly pale, his eyes widened. He looked like he was seeing something not of this world. He backed up and hit his back against the wall. You, Michael said in a trembling voice. Why are you here? I was confused. Michael, what's wrong? Do you know David? David slowly approached Michael. His expression was calm, but I sensed something cold in it. It's been a while, Michael, David said. Michael was trembling. Literally shaking. Are you with Rachel? He said in broken phrases. That's right, David answered. Rachel is my wife. Our son was just born. Aren't you going to congratulate us? The color completely drained from Michael's face. He said nothing, just stared at David. Fear showed in his eyes. Do you two know each other? I asked. What's going on? David smiled gently at me. A long time ago, just a little. But it's nothing important, Rachel. Don't worry about it. But Michael's reaction was abnormal. He was still pressed against the wall, unable to take his eyes off David. As if the person standing before him was a demon. Michael looked at me. His eyes seemed to be pleading something. But he couldn't put it into words. He just shook his head. David put his hand on my shoulder. Rachel, let's go back to your room. You must be tired. Your ex-husband doesn't matter. You and the baby are what's important. Right, I answered. But Michael's expression wouldn't leave my mind. Just then, Michael suddenly started running. He turned his back on us and ran down the hallway. Michael, Wait! I shouted. But he didn't look back. He turned a corner and disappeared from view. What was that about? I muttered. Who knows, David said. But don't worry about it. Forget about your ex-husband, Rachel. Right now, let's just think about you and the baby. He hugged me gently. But in his arms, I felt a small uneasiness. Michael's expression. Those eyes filled with fear. Something wasn't right. Back in the room, David took out what he'd bought. Orange juice, sandwiches, and my favorite cookies. Everything I liked. Thank you, I said. You're welcome. David smiled. But somehow that smile looked different. Was it just my imagination? While David was in the bathroom, I sat on the bed drinking orange juice. I couldn't get Michael out of my mind. Why had he been so frightened? When he saw David, he'd reacted as if he'd seen a ghost. Just then, my phone rang. I looked at the screen. It was a message from Michael. My heart started pounding. My fingers trembling, I opened the message. There was just one line written there. Divorce him immediately. That man is dangerous. I gasped. What are you talking about, Michael? I read the message again. But the content was the same. Divorce him immediately. That man is dangerous. What does this mean? I muttered. David is dangerous. That can't be. He's the perfect husband. Always kind, always putting me first. But Michael's expression came back to me. Those fear-filled eyes. His drained face. He'd reacted as if the person standing in front of him was trying to kill him. I heard the bathroom door open. David was coming back. I quickly hid my phone. What's wrong, Rachel? You don't look well, David asked with concern. No, I'm fine. Just a little tired, I lied. David put his hand on my forehead. No fever. You should rest a bit. I'll be here. Thank you, I answered. But my heart was still pounding. David sat down in a chair and started reading a magazine. He seemed just like always. Kind, calm, the perfect husband. But I couldn't get Michael's message out of my head. That man is dangerous. I clutched my phone. What did Michael know? Why had he sent that message? I looked at David again. He was reading the magazine, occasionally smiling at me. Nothing different from usual. But something felt off. I still didn't know what it was. My phone rang again. Michael's name appeared on the screen. I hesitated for a moment. David looked up from his magazine. Who is it? I was at a loss for words. A friend. I'll just step out for a minute. As I started toward the hallway, David stood up. It's okay. You can talk here. No, it's girl talk, I said with a forced smile. I'll be right back. David looked a bit suspicious but sat back down. Well, okay then. I hurried out to the hallway. When I answered, I heard Michael's urgent voice. Rachel, listen to me calmly. Michael, what's this about? That message. What do you mean David is dangerous? Michael started to say, then choked on his words. He approached you for revenge. What are you talking about? That doesn't make sense. Just then, the call dropped. Michael. I shouted. But the call had ended. A few seconds later, an unknown number called. I answered fearfully, and it was Michael's voice. Hello, Rachel. This is Michael. I'm calling from a different phone. That last one, he probably cut it off. He? You mean David? Why are you using a different phone? Listen to me. What I'm about to tell you may be hard to believe. But it's all true. Michael's voice was shaking. I leaned against the hallway wall. Tell me. He, David, was a classmate of mine in high school. What? I gasped. A classmate? Yes. And Michael continued, choosing his words carefully. I did something terrible. It's the most shameful part of my past. What did you do? I bullied him. Severely. Bullied, I repeated. My mind was spinning. Every day. I beat him, took his money, didn't treat him like a human being. Michael's voice sounded pained. I humiliated him in front of the whole class. Locked him in bathrooms. Made him stick his head in trash cans. I was speechless. Michael did those things. I was the worst. Really the worst. After graduation, I've regretted it ever since. I even went to counseling. But I never had a chance to apologize to him. I didn't know how to contact him. So how does that relate to David and me? Do you remember 3 years ago, when you were struggling with our marriage? I remember. You were always working, and I was alone. During that time, I was really busy. I'd been given a big project, and there were days I couldn't come home. But Rachel, Michael took a deep breath. It wasn't a coincidence that David approached you during that time. What are you saying? It was all planned. He targeted the time when I was swamped with work and approached you. He targeted you when you were lonely and hurting. That can't be, I shook my head. David is a kind person. We met by chance at a cafe when I was feeling down. It wasn't by chance. Michael's voice was full of certainty. He'd been watching me for years. My life, my work, my marriage, he knew everything. And he waited until you were at your most vulnerable, then approached you. My head was spinning. I can't believe this. That can't be. And that photo, Michael said. The photo, I murmured. The one at the hotel with that woman. It was fabricated. I never cheated. That's a lie, I shouted. I saw it clearly. You had your arm around a woman. It was fabricated, Rachel. David created it. That woman was a colleague from my company, and yes, we worked together. But that photo was made by combining separate pictures. How do you know that? After the divorce, I wanted to know the truth, so I hired an investigation company. They found out the photo was fake. But it was too late. You were already with David. I leaned my back against the wall. My legs were shaking. Then David. It's revenge. Michael's voice was pained. Revenge for what I did to him in high school. He approached you to take everything from me. He used you to make me suffer. Used, I whispered. Yes. His goal from the start was to take you from me. He didn't love you. He just used you as a tool to get revenge on me. No, I cried. David loves me. He was so kind throughout my pregnancy. And right now, our son was just born. Rachel, think carefully. Do you really think he loves you? Or is he just using you to make me suffer? Tears spilled from my eyes. No, no. That can't be. I didn't want to believe it either. But it's all true. He spent years planning this revenge. Marrying you, having a child, it was all part of the plan. A child, I whispered. I put my hand on my belly. My newborn son. That child is also a tool for revenge. Michael's voice was sad. He's going to use your child to make me suffer even more. That's a lie, I said through my tears. That's impossible. Rachel, please. Ask the hospital staff for help right now. He's dangerous. If the truth comes out, there's no telling what he'll do. I clutched my phone. My whole body was shaking. This is a bad dream. It has to be. I have evidence, Michael said. All the evidence I've gathered, I'm taking it to the police right now. Analysis of the fake photo, records of his stalking, everything. Really, I asked. Does David really not love me? He doesn't love you. Michael stated it flatly. All he loves is revenge. You were nothing but a tool to make me suffer. My knees almost gave out. I leaned against the hallway wall, barely managing to stay standing. Call a nurse right now. I'm heading to the hospital with the police. Okay, I answered in a trembling voice. Rachel, Michael said. I'm truly sorry. This is all my fault. If I hadn't done those things in high school, none of this would have happened to you. I couldn't say anything. I'll protect you. I promise. The call ended. I stood frozen in the hallway. Tears wouldn't stop. David didn't love me. From the beginning, it was all a lie. 3 years of memories, all of it. The marriage, the pregnancy, our son born today. All of it, tools for revenge. Just then, I sensed a presence behind me. I turned around, and David was standing there. You should hang up that phone, Rachel, he said. His expression wasn't the usual kind David. It was cold, expressionless, like a completely different person. David, I said in a trembling voice. Were you listening? He slowly approached. Yeah, I heard everything. I backed away. Is it true? Everything Michael said, is it all true? David's expression changed. With eyes devoid of any kindness, cold eyes, he looked at me. Yeah, that's right. Everything went according to plan. I almost dropped my phone. Then our relationship. David sneered. I never loved you. Not once. From beginning to end, it was all an act. Tears overflowed. Then this child. I held my belly. The kid? David said dismissively. Honestly, I don't care. My goal was to take everything from Michael. To take you, to take his happiness, to make him suffer. That's my revenge. Why? I screamed. Why did you drag me into this? Because you were the most important thing to him, David said. You were the most important thing to Michael. So I took you. That's all. I put my hand on the wall. The nurse call button, I have to press it. David grabbed my wrist. What do you think you're going to do? Let go, I shouted. Just then, I heard multiple footsteps from down the hallway. This is the police. Nobody move. David's grip loosened. Several police officers rushed over and restrained David. He didn't resist. He just had a cold smile on his face. Michael had come with them too. "Rachel, are you okay?" He rushed over. I collapsed in tears. Michael supported me. "It's okay now. It's over." David, being handcuffed, looked at me. "I don't regret it, Rachel. I made him suffer. That's enough for me." The police took David away. I stood there until he disappeared from view. After that, everything came to light. The evidence Michael had gathered was conclusive. Analysis of the fake photo, records of David's stalking, a notebook with plans for approaching me. Everything had been prepared for his revenge. David was charged with fraud and violations of stalking laws. At the trial, he spoke of his hatred for Michael. But at the end, in a small voice, he said this: revenge produced nothing. It was just empty. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison. In addition, a restraining order was issued preventing him from approaching me and my son. Several months passed. I was holding my son, meeting Michael at a cafe. He looked at my son tenderly. "I'm sorry, Rachel. This happened because of me." I shook my head. "You tried to make amends for your mistakes. That's enough." Michael took my hand. "Could we try again?" Taking our time, slowly. I looked at him. With different eyes than before. This person had also suffered from the past. He'd made mistakes, but he was trying to make amends. "It'll take time," I said. "But I'll think about it." Michael smiled. Then he picked up my son. "Could you let me raise this child as my own son? Even though you're not blood related?" I asked. "Family isn't about blood. It's about love," Michael said. "I can love this child. I can love you too. That's enough, isn't it?" My son grasped Michael's finger. That small hand, holding the large one. "Someday, maybe we could be a family again." I thought it was possible. Outside the window, spring sunshine was pouring down. A new season was about to begin. Bullying torments both the perpetrator and the victim for life. Revenge produces nothing. It only creates a chain of hatred. But people can change. They can make amends for their mistakes. True family isn't connected by blood, but by love and forgiveness. Our story begins here. People can change. If there's love.